Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. Today we are making a chocolate Texas sheet cake. It's another one of my mom's old recipes I decided to do in honor of Mother's Day that just passed. So let's go ahead and get this cake started. Okay, so to get this cake started, we're going to go ahead and start by mixing some of our dry ingredients first. So I have two bowls here. One bowl has 2 cups of sugar and the other bowl has 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to go ahead and start by actually mixing the flour and the sugar together. But I am going to sift the sugar and the flour together. Some recipes do call for sifting your flour or other dry ingredients before you add your wet ingredients like your eggs and your butter and so forth. But technically, when you do sift your flour or your sugar, that's just to go ahead and alleviate any type of clumps or any kind of air pockets that you might have in the flour. And then you can also get an exact measurement of how much you need when you're baking your cakes and your cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and sift. You see how fine the mixture is getting there. I'm just going to go ahead and continue to mix the sugar and the flour together, or sift the sugar and the flour together until it is all one fine mixture. So there is my finished sifted product. I'm going to go ahead now and set that aside and start working on the wet ingredients. So now we're going to begin to work on the wet or the cake batter part of the cake. So in here I have 2 sticks of margarine, and I'm going to add to that 1 cup of water. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my cocoa powder, and in this case I'm going to just kind of eyeball 3 heaping tablespoons of the cocoa powder. So once that is all together, I'm going to go ahead and let that mixture come to a boil. So once the cocoa powder and the butter mixture has come to a slight boil, don't want it really to cook too long, but go ahead and pour your wet into the dry and just go ahead and mix that together until you get that nice cake batter or almost brownie type batter mixture. In this case, this would be on some of the cake boxes where they'll say give it 50 strokes. So you can go ahead as many as you like, just enough until it's well mixed together with the dry and the wet ingredients. So I just made sure that everything was totally mixed together and it comes out to that mixture that you want, pretty much that brownie and cake batter mixture. Now that we have our wet and our dry ingredients mixed together, I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. I'm going to go ahead and crack 2 eggs, 2 large eggs. Go ahead and add 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to also add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. In this case, use the baking soda and not the baking powder. So now I'm going to go ahead and just mix everything back up together till we get that same consistency that we had before, as far as it looking like a cake batter or a brownie batter. Just want to make sure that everything is mixed well and it comes to the same consistency that you had before you added the last ingredients. For the next step, we're going to go ahead and get our sheet pan out. Go ahead and just grease it here. Make sure it is nice and oiled or buttered up. And go ahead, and this is why they call it, of course, a Texas sheet cake or a sheet cake, because you actually do use a sheet pan to cook the cake in. So we're going to go ahead and just add our mixture there to the pan itself. And as you can see, it'll kind of spread out into the pan evenly by itself. But if you want to go ahead and just kind of make sure everything is filling the whole sheet pan, you can go ahead and do that. But it pretty much will spread out evenly by itself. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and put it into a 355 or 350 degree oven for 25 minutes. Now while our cake is in the oven, let's get started on the icing. And here I do have 1 stick of margarine, 3 tablespoons of butter, and 6 tablespoons of milk. Let the butter melt down, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a box of powdered sugar, a small 1-pound box of powdered sugar. Stir that up. I'm going to go ahead and add my teaspoon of vanilla to the mixture as well. And in this case, usually my mom's recipe did say you can add nuts to that mixture as well, but I didn't have any nuts. So I've just got my chocolate icing, which was delicious. I need to start making my own icing from now on because that was really good. So just go ahead, and while the cake is still warm and your icing mixture is still hot, just go ahead and pour that over the cake. Kind of made a mess while it was going on there, so it kind of overflowed a little bit. But in that case, you can have a larger. I just think my sheet pan wasn't large enough to handle the spillage or the overflow that might happen. But in your case, just make sure you have a pan that's a little bit bigger. And once you got your icing on there, just go ahead and let the cake sit for a few minutes so that the icing can actually solidify. And in this case, I did some cake that actually was just regular with no kind of topping, no nuts, just the regular chocolate cake. Then I actually went ahead and added some powdered sugar to the top of the cake as well, just to kind of give it a little bit more flair there. But there you have it, chocolate Texas sheet cake. There are many variations that you can make of the sheet cake. This was just one instance where I had the recipe for an actual chocolate on chocolate Texas sheet cake. And there you have it. It's ready to be eaten with a nice glass of milk. I actually ate a few pieces myself, so it was delicious. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.